morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Friday the 9th of October. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, relatively range bound start to the morning. Can we see Bitcoin avoid a fall through the pivot at 10,818 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 11,096. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rally for Bitcoin to break out from yesterday's high that was at 10,971 and through to 11,000 levels. However, but plenty of resistance at 11,000. In the event of another breakout, could see Bitcoin test the second major resistance level sitting at 11,248 before any pullback. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 10,666 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, however, Bitcoin should avoid sub 10,800 levels. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a slight narrowing here of the bullish histogram in the morning, supportive of the slight pullback. Looking at the EMAs, however, we're seeing that 50 pull away from the 100 and the 200 after yesterday's bullish cross, suggestive of further upside through the day. So key through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot level in sub 10,800s and move through yesterday's high to then hit 11,000 to bring the resistance levels into play. Moving across Ethereum against the US dollar, it's a bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 346.29 to bring the first major resistance level sitting at 358.3 into play. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rally for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high and through to 355 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, Ethereum should visit 360s with the second major resistance level sitting at 365.34 to limit any upside on the day. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 339.25 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should steer well clear of sub 330s. Second major support level sits at 327.24. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a narrowing of the bullish histograms after yesterday's bullish cross, supporting this early pullback through the morning. Looking at the EMAs, however, we're seeing that 50 narrow on the 100 and the 200, supportive of a further upside through the day. So key through the early part of the morning, avoid a fall through the pivot, and break through to 355 levels to bring resistance levels and 360 into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid that pivot at 46.75 to support a run at the first major resistance level that's sitting at 48. Going to need to see extended rally on the day for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high that was at 47.49. So barring an extended rally, expect that first major resistance level to pin any upside. In the event of breakout, got second major resistance level sitting at 48.74 that could come into play. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 46.01 into play. Barring a meltdown, Litecoin should stay clear of sub 45s. Second major support level sits at 44.76. Looking at MACD, marked narrowing of the bullish histograms and a possible bearish cross there. Need to keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 top out against the 100 and the 200. So key through the morning is to avoid that pivot level and break out from yesterday's high to support further upside. Failure to do that and expect that first major support level and sub 46 to come into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, relatively range bound in the early part of the morning. Then you see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 0.2489 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 0.2556. Extended rally through the morning is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break out from yesterday's high 0.253. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, second major resistance level at 0.2597 and resistance at 0.26 to limit any upside. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2448 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.24s. Second major support level sits at 0.2382. Looking at the MACDs, we've got a narrowing of the bullish histograms, but no suggestion of a bearish cross just yet. Looking at the MAs, we are seeing the 50 pull away marginally from the 100 and 200, supportive of a move northwards through the morning. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through to sub 0.25s and that pivot level at 0.2489, a breakthrough to 0.255 levels, and that first major resistance level should bring the second major resistance level and 0.26 into play.